Hello! It says I'm live, which means I'm live. I am tired, if you can't tell. Ooh, I feel like my body has been in rest mode. I feel like my body's been in rest mode. I've been so tired, not feeling like doing nothing. 1 second. Is this okay? Why does this look? Maybe not. I feel like I'm oddly zoomed in. But maybe I'm not. I don't know. Anyway. Excuse me. I got the four Kims out mostly because I wanted to combine the wild unknown tarot and animal spirits. Because I wanted to use the wild unknown animal spirits, but also have the tarot. Like, I know Jupiter is direct, and I'm sure we're all happy for that, but I'm going to need it to be in like Aries, like right now. Because the dreams is too much. It's too much. I'm just like, okay. But that's why I'm using this deck because I had a dream about frogs and tadpoles, and I kind of want to grab the Enchanted Map Oracle cards actually, but I'm not gonna do it. This video is gonna be like every video. We're gonna shuffle up. We're gonna see what's going on, and I'll try to not fall asleep in the middle of this. I was gonna go live earlier. Well, I went on a walk today, and like I was like, I want something to listen to, but I feel like I'm caught up. And nobody went live for me to listen. The crows were interesting today, though. There was a crow with a long caw, like a caw, 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 instead of the, instead of the usual. The phoenix fell on the floor. Goodness. I'm like fishing for it down here. I felt like there were two cards that slipped out, but it might have just been that one. Yeah, I think it was just that one. Eve! It's the Never Short Medium. You totally did make a live. It's been a minute. It's because it's not like 10 o'clock at night, Even though it feels like it. Excuse me, today feels like it's been such a long day. But yeah, I've just been like yesterday was so much rest. I had to like do physical manual labor at work Wednesday. Wiped me out. I was so tired. And I don't know if I I don't I don't know if I could do it anymore, but that's gonna be my job for the next 3 weeks, question mark, until the 16th. It's gonna be a lot of like moving stuff, packing stuff, because we're decommissioning like everything. And I'm like, oof. And I don't know if it's because like when I was sick, I caught up on rest so hardcore. Now I'm like, I don't feel like doing nothing. It's storming there. Are you serious? Like winter storm? Well, no. Is it? Because it warmed up here. This I was gonna say this weekend, but I guess it's still the middle of the week for non-U.S. folk and even some U.S. folk who go to work. I went to Starbucks earlier and it was packed. I got a new cup because I saved up enough coins, and this one changes colors. Like, and then I noticed it has like these wolves on it. You see? I mean, you can't really see because the TV, but there you go. And supposedly it changes colors or something. I was like, oh. I wanted to get something like Christmassy. Excuse me, but the Christmassy ones weren't. Oh, there's a. Hold up. There's a deer up here, too. There you go. What? Okay, we got the two wolves of Ragnarok. We got the deer from the tree of life. I mean, the tree of life Yggdrasil. We got all of these leaves. All we're missing is a bird. Thank you. Excuse me. I was just about to give up, and then I noticed it. I was like, ooh. Well, I noticed it because of the flag on the straw, and I was like, oh, what does that say? And there's like color change cup. I was like, oh, I don't have one of these, so it's a thunderstorm. Ooh, nice and cozy. Cozy vibes. I'm gonna ask you, Eve, since you're here. Am I blurring? Hello? Did that bring me back in focus? No? Okay. You did? You got the Mystical Dream Tarot? Have you used it yet? Did you get the Creepy Lovers card? I'm not even talking about anything yet. Oh gosh. And another reason why I'm live is because my mom came back here and she was knocking on the door and I was like, oh, I'm about to go live. She was like, oh, okay, well, we can just do it later. So, and she actually like watches me sometimes. So she'd be like, oh, you didn't even go live. We could have did whatever. I'm like, so even if she is watching this, it doesn't matter because I'm live. So what's this Phoenix about? Wolfgang Amadeus Phoenix. I love it. But yeah, I don't know. Everything feels so. I'll share something with y'all a little bit. I guess, kind of, sort of. The camel at the bottom of the deck. So I don't even know where I would start, honestly. I have the Mystical Shaman Oracle cards. I kind of want to use those too. I kind of wish I had more space. Excuse me. I don't know. So I've been like in this mood lately. Not a mood, but I think I mentioned like throwing tantrums recently. I've been like, I feel like I'm in my terrible twos almost. But it's not terrible like all the time, you know what I mean? so so I feel like the past month or so has been it's like I'll ask for something and then I'll get a confirmation. Basically. That's one of the things that's been running. And for some reason, what's interesting is that like there were things that I had to confront and face within myself to make me open to things that I really, really desire. And so that happened. And then there are other things where it's like, I don't know, like I feel like I'm in such a weird space right now. Where it's like, first, like, I don't even know what's happening. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it's because like I got so much more time on my hands now that my body is just like, rest, 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 rest. Catch up on all the rest that you didn't get for those few months. But it's like, I would ask for something, I would be shown something, or I would have an experience. And there was a point of frustration for me because it's like, I know what I want and I know what I don't want. And if you're going to give me what I want, show me that this is what I want. And so then I'll be shown that it's what I want, right? And I'm like, okay, but there are things that I know I need to do right now to like pave the way or to make my life more suitable for the changes that are coming. So it's almost like it's no surprise or no reason why I feel like my little astrological birth chart, it feels like something is just like slipping. It feels like it's almost like there's a planet approaching and it's affecting the gravity of the solar system. And so everything is kind of sort of like adjusting and shifting and moving to like into a new balance or whatever. And so part of that is me just like sometimes not knowing what's going on. Honestly, is it me like not knowing what's going on, or is it me intentionally not investing time, energy, or effort into like finding out what's going on? That's honestly more truth than me not knowing. But because I don't invest time, energy, or effort into finding out, then I don't know. You know what I mean? And I need to slow down on the water because I've already been going to the bathroom like all day, but it's fine. So it's already been proven to me, or it's been shown to me enough times um, that I don't have to feel whatever type of way I'm feeling about whatever situation, right? And so here recently, I had another one of those like, if I'm being really honest, like there's a past energy that's coming that's not bad. There's a past energy that's coming that's like kind of gorgeous. Um, because it's evolved and it's shifted as life has happened. And so it was like a past idea, but it's coming in a like it's a new fresh take or whatever. But also simultaneously, I guess there's this other life that I used to live, and there's this other self that I used to be for the upper majority of my life. I mean, there have been some very, very recent developments. And I feel like I'm kind of sort of like, I've already been shown that some of the things that I used to have to worry about, I don't have to worry about anymore. Excuse me. And so I was like, you know what? F it. I've already been told to just trust it. So I'm going to just trust it. And the trust was met. And so I'm like, okay. And that's basically the whole story. And then I proceeded to just like, I'm like, I haven't even been like sleeping. I kind of honestly, I don't even want to go to sleep because the dreams have been so just like, I'm like, I don't even want to dream tonight. Like, it was so WTF kind of that I started journaling again. I journaled a dream that I had, and I haven't done it since like 2001. I looked at the dream. I was like, oh my gosh, I had this dream such a long time ago. Is this really the last one that I have recorded? And apparently, yeah, it is. And I'm like, okay. It was July 23rd, 2021. And I titled the dream Neptune. So that's why I'm like, Jupiter needs to hurry up and get an Aries because whatever is happening between Jupiter but like even when Jupiter transits into Aries, for me, it's still going to be in my 12th house because my 12th house is huge. Jupiter is not going to leave my 12th house until it's 9 degrees Taurus. so, so it's still going to be in my 12th house, but it's fine. It's just like, and there are other things too that it feels like it's time. It's time for a lot of the changes that there are like things that I've wanted to experience that I haven't experienced yet, things that I desire. But there are also like things that I've been wanting to do for myself, like health wise and other things, partially because my body is like, okay, bro, like you're going to have to do something or you're going to have a not great time. And I'm like, okay, body, like just give me like this amount of time. Give me that amount of time. But also like there are other things too that it's been like weighing on me, not in a super heavy way, just like there are things that I've been aware of that I need to do or change or whatever that I haven't fully. And the excuse was before was like, I don't really have enough time to do a lot of stuff because of work. Now I got the time, but also now my body is like rest, 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 rest. Some purgy dreams. I was like, purgy? What's purgy? I said, my brain is still. Oh, wow. Ooh, excuse me. That's on the. I don't. I'm like, it's. Let's move. Let's go. Um, but yeah, there are things that. It's just like it's a lot. It's a lot shifting. It's a lot happening. Um, Fortunately, I guess like there are things that like I already know, so I'm not necessarily like lost, but at the same time, oh, that's why I said that. There are some things that I've been knowing that I need to like some habits that I need to like form and some other habits that I need to drop. But at the same time, it's like I feel like it's important for me to be open to more things in a lot of ways too. So I'm like, you know what? Fine. I'll be open, I guess. And now I'm like, am I regretting it? No, but because I feel like my dreams for a hot minute weren't that memorable or weird or engaging. I feel like my dreams weren't really engaging for a hot minute. And like the past, I really thought that like it seems like after Scorpio season and Scorpio, like the last day or two of Scorpio season into Sagittarius season, like it feels like everything has sort of like calmed down in my like waking life. But when I go to sleep, it's like a lot. So, oh no. Excuse me. Oh, thanks, Eve. You can do it too. I don't know what you're doing, but I know you can do it. The Phoenix is the root chakra, isn't it? So tell me about this. Well, okay, we got a Phoenix. I'll pick up. I got all four Kens with me. So I've already broken this down. I feel like I don't really need one of these, but we'll pull one of these. Sure, why not? It's really exciting though, more than anything. Um, my body is just like catching up on rest, and so I'm like tired. Okay. Ooh, that's a little bit more than I wanted. Ooh, we got two. The Shaman and the Mentor, number 6 and 16. These are aspects of self. The Phoenix is the card that fell out on the floor. I think this is the objects. Excuse me. I feel like I was not yawning this much before I turned on the camera, by the way. The Mirror, number 68. Yeah, number 68. The Mirror is the thing. Let's get a where. The castle. That's not necessarily the temples at the bottom of the deck. That's not necessarily the where that I thought this was gonna happen. The castle is interesting for me because I never quite know what the castle is. I say as I totally know what the castle is. Um, oh, this is what I'm going to take from the castle. This. I'm pretty sure that was my first community post question mark. Because I went walking today in the cemetery, right? And for like half a second, I was like, I can go live. But then I was like, no. Because at first I was like, oh, well, I'm out walking. I can listen to a longer video, like something that I can catch up on or whatever. There was like nothing to catch up on. I'm like, okay, well. And I was like, oh, baby. Excuse me. I know you didn't understand that. Welcome home, Holly. Or I'm glad you made it home. And I was gonna walk longer, but I had to go to the bathroom. It was starting to hit me, so I was like, I'm gonna go home before I'm like rushing home because I'm not a dog. I can't just like find a tree out here in the cemetery. Um, but as I was finishing up my lap, I smelled a smell, and then it made me think of when I saw that rose. Hold up, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. Hello? This one. Oh, you see that? I smelled the smell, but I didn't see a rose. Also, I didn't really look. And then it's funny because I saw the woman that I saw that I mentioned in that post. I saw her. Um, I saw her car parked where she parked last time. And I was like, I wonder if that's that woman. I was like, oh, I might not see her because I hadn't seen her before then. But as I was finishing my lap, she was finishing doing whatever she was doing, so I saw her anyway. And I noticed that this like every direction was clear except for south. There was like a fog in the south. And it was weird because usually it's like whenever I've experienced fog, I'll be like in the fog. So no matter which direction you look, it's kind of foggy. But it was only in, or was that the west? I think it was actually the west. Let me pull up a map really quick. Because I was like, oh, the west, that's the direction that the sun sets in. That's death. Um, this is going to be like super disjointed, but that's fine. I come out here and then I go here. Yeah, that's the high school. That's that. So this has, yeah, that's Spring Hill. So no, yeah, that is south. Because this is west. That's south. Yeah, so I said it right. The south direction was like foggy. I mean, like, honestly, probably. But I just felt it was weird. Because it wasn't really like moving. Like, I did 2 full laps and it was just like the southern area. And it wasn't like extremely foggy, but it was like foggy. I'm just like, what's that about? And then I'm looking to the west, I'm looking to the east, I'm looking to the north, and I'm like, oh, it's not that foggy. I mean, it's not foggy at all, really. But it was foggy to the south. I don't know what this video is, y'all. But anyway, this is number 43. 4368. It's interesting because we have all the same. No, we don't. I was going to say we have all the same letters, but there's no V in the castle. XVIVI, LXVIIIXLIII. Like, I don't know. The shaman and the mentor is interesting. That could be like an ancestral sort of like connection. Another thing that's interesting is like I watched a video yesterday. It was a Pisces read from some lady that I don't even know. And I'm like, why am I watching this? I don't know. And then I was like, I'll just keep watching it. Why not? And then she was like, I'm feeling someone like come in. And she was like, she basically described the mentor. LOL. She basically described someone who was a mentor for me. Like, she got the race right, she got the neck rolls right, she even got his age right. And I didn't even know how old he was when he passed. I had to like look it up, and I was like, yeah, he was like 55, 56. And it's funny because it was a few weeks ago now. The 100-gram bar is one of my favorite candy bars because of him and his sister. When I was young, they were like they were instrumental in my early childhood development. In a way that is not negligible. Um, but it had to be like after Halloween. Somebody brought a bag of candy to work. Excuse me. So I reached in and I got the candy that I wanted. I think it was like a Twix or a Crunch or something like that. And then I put the bag down, and then I'm like, she said something, and I said something smart, uh, or like sarcastic. And then I was like, "Oh, are there 100-gram bars in there? Can I get one?" She was like, "No, you don't get another one." And then I looked in my hand, and I actually pulled one without even realizing that I had pulled it, and it made me think of him. Um, but it was like a passing thought. And I guess it's interesting because, like, he didn't see me graduate high school. And so because he didn't see me graduate high school, he didn't see me like go to college or do anything else, right? And for a long time, every time I would hit a transition point, and sometimes even before that, I would be like, I wish like he were here. Like, oh man, I wish he could have seen me like graduate. I wish he could have seen me get my degree. I wish I could talk to him to get some guidance. I wish I could whatever. And it wasn't until that moment when like he came in for the reading that I realized that like I haven't wished that in a hot second, which is surprising because of the space of transition that I'm in right now. But I guess at the same time, it isn't. Excuse me. Again, it's only surprising because it's something that I used to like. He's someone that used to come to my mind all the time, especially when I was in the space of a transition or accomplishment. Um, but he hasn't been. And like I said, like this year has challenged me in so many ways, and it's given me so many opportunities to become more and more of who I authentically am and to become less and less ruled by like fear and stuff like that, right? And I remember like when he first passed, or like really close to when he first passed, I would see him in dreams sometimes. And it would hit me so hard, like I would instantly know I was dreaming because he wasn't there. I'd be like you're gone, you're not here anymore, and I would wake up like in tears because I really, really wanted him to be there. Um, and he only came in like two or three of my dreams, and then I guess after that it was like, you know what, I'm just gonna give you some space because this isn't like I feel like I wouldn't even really get to interact with him in a dream because as soon as he would show up, I'm like, you're not here, you're already gone, and then I'd wake up and be sad. I was like, oh, maybe he like moved on or whatever. And if the shaman is the one that, connects in that way. Or if the shaman is the aspect that connects, then the shaman and the mentor could be that. It's interesting though, because there's someone else who I was a problem child for real. Hello, Holly. Welcome. Now that you're settled in. Excuse me, I was a problem child for real. Like when I was in elementary school, I was a nightmare for a lot of people. But not like all the time, you know what I mean? But when I was, it was like, oof. And it's funny because so I work with one of my best friend's dads, and he was like, oh, I saw that one teacher you had for third grade, and she was surprised that, you're doing what you're doing. I was like, yeah, I've come a long way since then. Um, I want to get a few more. Oh, I was picking up this deck, and wait, Matthew's doing readings? That's what I'm like. Hold up, wait, what? Since when? Now I'm about to pull up my phone. Link his channel, Holly. Link it. Link it. Link it. Link it. And I'm like, oh, I mean, I can't just type Matthew and he pop up, right? I'm like, hold up, hold up. I'll find him later. I'll have to find something that he's commented on and try to follow it through. Excuse me. Well, I'm glad he's alive and well. Oh, snap! It's a starborn bird. How you been? Hey, have you told me your name before? You're not also Steph, are you? Are you also Steph? With a PH, Steph? Oh, no. Okay. Christina. Welcome, Christina. Who was the other Steph? I feel like there was a PH Steph. It's like, oh, on the tip of my brain. Now my eye is hurting. I don't know what this is, by the way. This is probably one of those, it's safe to skip. I mean, everything is safe to skip, but I'll look at them. The Mother of Swords, the Mother of Pentacles, and the Camel fell out on top of. Well, I picked the deck up and they stayed on top of the Shaman. I mean, I guess it's interesting because the Camel holds elements of both fire and water. So we get all four elements on the Shaman composed into or compressed into three um, cards. What? He got a whole what? He ain't say nothing. He ain't say nothing. Hold up, 1 second. I am so shook right now. This is Matthew. I feel like he never. And then I'm like, I see Russell leaving a comment. Hold on. I'm so shook right now. I am so shook right now. Wow. What? What? When was he on Rob? This says 6 months ago. When was he on Rob's channel? Oh, snap. So have you delivered and like is everything cool? Am I the 100th sub? Thank you. I'll take it. Yeah. Wow, I'm so shook. I'm so shook. I feel like nothing was said. Wow, look at all these. Look at all these. There's a whole library. 2 years. I'm like scrolling back through the channel. Yeah, because I know you I was gonna say yesterday, but it was longer than yesterday now. I know you've mentioned before. Excuse me. Oh my gosh, no. No, no. Usually I do, but not today. Not today. We ain't taking 15 cards. And they're all animals. That's a whole zoo. Oh, I see the fish. Darn it. Nope. Maybe I should. I'm like, nope, not taking this. Nope, nope. Not taking that. Okay. What am I asking about? I don't know. Maybe there isn't anything to ask about. What, Matthew's channel? Lionheart Dreamweaving? Yes. I mean, if you feel so called, Lionheart Dreamweaving. Um, I gotta I go and actually watch. Eve. I'm so shook right now. I'm so shook right now. I'm like, what? I feel like he's been holding out. I'm just playing. I feel like the mirror is just like, what does it mean? And I'm focusing on the eye in the castle. Like, I've never seen that as an eye before. I've always seen it as like a bracelet or something. But it's a little Sleeping Beauty vibes. Yeah, I guess. I'm just playing. I feel that though. The camel is an almost temperance energy. Were you really? You never did. Yeah, you're right. You didn't. um, the camel feels like temperance, but it's different than temperance because it's almost like while you are in a situation that's starved of something or where something is deficient, there's enough within you to sustain you. And so it's but with like the Mother of Pentacles and the Mother of Swords, it's like if there's a vision or a knowing that you have, and it's interesting that it comes out more like Mother of Swords than the Mother of Cups. Um, but maybe it's the Mother of Swords because it's less like intuition is great. Intuition is amazing. Maybe the sword is a little bit more like discernment than like raw intuition. Um, but the Mother of Swords, it just feels a little more like concrete than the Mother of Cups. So it's almost like when if the environment doesn't necessarily match the knowing, then the knowing is enough to get you through the environment until it becomes what you know it to be in a way, or vice versa. It's like if there's something that you're unsure of, then life in the universe spirit through life will carry you until you get that understanding. It's one that holds in the absence of the other. And it's all internal, though. Because that's the camel. The camel holds it within. And so I guess it's interesting that that will come out on top of the shaman. And maybe that just speaks to the innate spirituality that's within us. How we all have an intuition, how we all have discernment, how we all have some level of ability, regardless of how consciously we're aware of it or how we choose to use it or not, it's within us. And not only is it within us, paired with the mentor, it's almost like it guides us to Mirror's Edge. This castle is interesting because I think the castle one time was like a hall of mirrors, or the castle was like full of mirrors, but they were like funhouse mirrors, where like some of them are like more obviously distorted than others, but either way, it's like it can be difficult to navigate through. So now let's see what the mirror is about. Well, it looks like two cards came out, and the Ten of Swords is on top. So, okay, it's more than two cards. The Ten of Swords, the Mother of Wands. All of the mothers are coming out today. The Cobra, the High Priestess, and the Fool. There's the High Priestess energy. Ten of Swords, Mother of Wands, the Cobra, the High Priestess, the Fool. This is interesting because it feels like the mirror shows both it's almost like if there is like the best version of us and the worst version of us. It's not that simple, but if it were, the mirror would show us almost like both. But it's more so like where we are, where we think we are, and where we're gonna be. Kind of almost. Oh, this mirror. Yeah, I'm glad you asked, Eve, because I'm like, I'm not the person to ask anything right now. Literally anything. So that's why I said again, you might not even want to watch this video. What's it? Is that a big? Is that big gonna be? The Cobra is a mentor, is a guide, is a teacher. That's one thing I remember from the book, is that the Cobra is a mentor. But with the Mother of Wands and the Cobra coming out, it's almost like a snake charmer energy. It's making me think of snake charmers. Well, the Ten of Swords with the snake charmer is interesting because I feel like it's either like the mirror could be reflecting back our biggest like insecurities, our worst fears, more like worst case scenarios. And those worst case scenarios are charming the snake. And it can get us to kind of sort of misconstrue some things, maybe, or to take a certain interpretation. Because it's the whole gosh darn high priestess. It's not our Queen of Cups. You know what I mean? She's like big high priestess energy. And then the Fool is here. But I think the Ten of Swords can also be um, oh, there you go. So even David are the people to go to if you got dream questions. Got it. Hey David, how are you doing? But I think sometimes too it's very like a flower that grows in the crack of a sidewalk where something not great can cause us to seek out something beautiful. Let's look at the castle. Why not? I was watching a video earlier today. It was people asked questions to a Buddhist monk, and somebody asked the question. I forget what the question was. Maybe it was like, "How do you stay hopeful?" or "How do you stay positive?" And he was like, I used to think that when it was the darkest, that means you're at the end of the tunnel, and there would be like this great light that you walk into, but sometimes it's about finding the light where you are, even if it's just like a candle flame. And this is making me think of that. It's almost like find the beauty where you are. A little bit. Oop. Castle. What is castles in the sky? Starfish, dragonfly. Oh, it's always dragonfly. 3 cards, 5 cards, 1 card, which is much better than 7. Yeah, it can be for sure. For far sure. I like it's almost like light begets light or beauty begets beauty. By finding it where we are, we become more capable of seeing it in even more places. But it feels like it unfolds and it leads to even more. Like it feels like it's creating the portal under this dragonfly. Okay. I mean, I guess I have these cards too, so I might as well, right? I wouldn't be surprised if the Ouroboros comes out. I did like barely even got. You can't see it. Oh yeah, you can. Rotatio. Change of perspective. Rotation. Number 69. Because of course it is. Woo! Changing positions. Number 69. Rotatio. We'll read it because why not? I have the book. The wheel, monotony, and cycles. Rotatio is the great alchemical operation of the wheel. Through its circularity, it indicates that work performed again and again and again produces results. It reminds us our efforts are cumulative, not singular. Nor is the work ever fixed or finished. Rather, the alchemist rises each day to tend to the laboratory, to weave their work into the world. It is the epitome of the alchemical axiom eadem mutata resurgo. Although changed, I arise the same. This operation is expressed through images of the circle, the spiral, the Ouroboros, and the wheel. By its non hierarchical shape, we are tossed back into the spin just when we thought we had figured it all out. Though this stage can be frustrating and cause a fair amount of restlessness, it is at the heart of all spiritual practices. I like that it brings out the imagery of the Ouroboros, but it didn't give us an Ouroboros. So, excuse me. I think I drank a little too much water. I kind of like Rotatio for that unfolding energy. So the shaman and the mentor is all about us having, it's about us being able to sustain ourselves or having something within us that guides us. It's all about like subtle connections, something that is innate. The mirror, it feels like the mirror is almost about like, again, it's like, what it's about what you see, or it's like it's about why you see what you see, or the mirror helps us to figure out why we see what we see. It's almost like it's not about what we see in the mirror, it's about why we see it that way. And then the castle, which is, it's almost Sagittarian, with the X marks the spot, like you are exactly where you need to be to begin building the foundation for what you want, or everything that you desire is like not too far from your grasp right now. Because it's like when we find it where we are, then it expands and it unfolds even more. And it feels like that's the rotatio, or that's the rotation. Everything changes and you didn't even have to go anywhere. I mean, you can go plenty of places. Speaking of dream interpretation, that's what this almost feels like. It's like if you interpret your life like a dream, your life might be a little vague or broad, but you don't know what to think of Sagittarius season yet. Girl, it feels like Sagittarius season is holding a lot of great stuff. Does Jupiter move out of Pisces before the end of Sagittarius? Ooh, goodness. Like at the start of Sagittarius season, it felt gorgeous. I mean, honestly, it still kind of does. I just feel like I'm catching up on rest. And then my dreams have been like, I don't know, potentially illuminating just a lot. I'm seeing a lot of animals, which is weird because usually there's so much tarot that I don't see much of any. Whale. Whale. Look what the dolphin dragged in. The lizard, the spider, the turtle. Why are there like all animals? It's all animals. The horse, even more animals. Like, excuse me. Well, this weekend is looking fairly chill, so I'll take a chill Capricorn season. Honestly, it will be a pretty chill Capricorn season because Sagittarius is going to see me through to the end of this. The buffalo and the camel with the elk at the bottom of the deck, literally like no tarot. What is going on? The animals just came in and took everything over. It's a veritable arc out here. Oh, snap. Oh, wait. Star 69 was the dial back? I thought, or was Star 67 that when you can call anonymous so people can't tell who you're calling when you make the call? More animals. This camel again. Let me look at these animals. In fact, the animals don't usually talk to me like this. The horse, the camel, the eagle. Literally no tarot flipped over. Literally just animals. And I thought there was another animal somewhere in here too. Or another card that flipped over. Well, the Phoenix was the card that came out, right? So the Phoenix makes it feel like there is something inside of us. That maybe it's had a more subtle or a more behind the scenes role in helping us navigate our lives. But it's going to be not so subtle here fairly soon. Yeah, that's it. Oh, there's a little bit of sun and moon in between the horse and the eagle, with the camel in between. Like, there's the sun, there's the moon. An animal flipped over, face down, the bumblebee in between them. Fire, earth, and air, but no water. Excuse me. Hildego. It's excuse me. Oh. Back in the day when I used to work at this one job I worked at, there would be this person on the line that would sing whatever he was listening to. And there was this one song that would come on every now and then, and he'd just go, "Get up, you're asleep at the wheel. Get up, you're asleep at the wheel." And I don't know why that just popped into my mind, but it did. Oh, okay, that's an oof. Well, this is so the unicorn. I'm like, oh, that's an animal I can get down with. Like, oh my gosh, yes, unicorn. But then I look at the bottom of the deck, and it's a tarot, but it's the Five of Swords. Like somebody trying to chop unicorn horn. Hello? Grind it into powder. Oof. It's like in The Magicians when you find out what that magic powder is made out of. People, man. That's why there are veils and realms and all kinds of other stuff. Because don't nobody F with us. It's fine. I mean, I don't know if I would either personally. Okay. I feel like I don't want to use these anymore. I feel like I want to use something else. So I am. Tell who a unicorn to. The Starborn. Starborn Bird. The Starborn. With the mystic at the bottom. What does she say about the Starborn? Wait, I should get one of these next. We're gonna place next. The Mountain. Interesting. 333. The Starborn and the Mountain. Obviously, the colors are like super interesting. Bottom of the deck over here is the Temple again, number 39. That makes me think of Rapunzel. I mean, just because like you had to go like through over the mountain and through the woods to get to this one tower where Rapunzel was. What is the thing? That thing. The dead end. No. The gem and Thanatos. 56 and 73. Bottom of the deck is the thread, number 70. It's almost like the gem of Thanatos. Excuse me. I'm pretty sure the answer to that question is yeah. Well, I think the answer to that question might not be. If there's some connection to the mountain and another card in this deck. I think the forest has similar colors, but I feel like there is another card that has a connection. The Starborn, the Mountain, and the Gem of Thanatos. If you know about Lemuria and question mark, I barely know anything, and by that I mean I know pretty much nothing about Lemuria and the Caves of Creation, but it is a little bit of that energy. Um, Thanatos is about life, death, and life, and the transition between life and death, and then the transition between death and life, or death and rebirth, or whatever. And we had the Phoenix, so I guess it's fair. But the gem of Thanatos feels like there is some kind of, speaking of Buddhism, um, it's almost like in every situation, every, and a lot of things, and some of the things that we go through in life, some of the challenging and difficult things, there's a lesson that we can take away from those things, and then changes that we can make, our information and knowledge and wisdom that we gather through those lessons, that can help us, that can empower us to make certain choices and decisions, or to hold certain viewpoints as we go through life, that makes it a little easier for us to align to a path that's not as gruesome or gruelsome or whatever as paths that we may have been on in the past. Within an incarnation, we have those experiences. Between incarnations, we have even more experiences. But the gem of Thanatos, it's almost like a full 2.0 energy, where it's the fool that's made its way from magician to the world, having learned everything that it had to learn at each step along the way, but then it re-enters the world. Or it's like that's not game over. You keep continuing living life, but you live life on a completely different ground than the way you lived life before you completed that journey. The gem of Thanatos feels like it's mostly complete. That's why it's the gem. It's like, okay, well, why is it back? Like, why does it continue to incarnate if there's nothing else for it to learn? Girl, I don't know. But it feels like that's the starborn, like, that's the same as the starborn energy. That's the gem as it's born into the world again. The mountain means it's a Capricorn, so it's. I remember somebody was like, Jesus was a Capricorn because December 25th is in Capricorn season. Um, Maybe it just like it symbolizes connection more than anything. Because in the mountain, it's not in the dense forest. It's a lot closer to all of this. And again, it's the same colors as that starborn. It's the same, or a lot of similar colors that we see in the gem. But like I said, that's not necessarily my wheelhouse. Um, find somebody who's all Atlantean, Lemurian, everything else in, because I don't know. I mean, it can also be like it reads as a little bit like before you incarnated, you had completed most of everything that you needed to learn throughout your series and cycles of incarnation. But it can also be within moments that we have within this incarnation. So maybe we're at a position in life where we can better extract the lesson from a lot of the trials that we've experienced up until this point. And as everything is changing and turning, we can better. I'm like, is that a dead pixel? Sorry. We can better integrate those lessons and use that information so that we navigate this season in a way that's different than how we navigated other seasons. Or if we do navigate this season in a similar manner, we navigate it in a similar manner, but with much more awareness. And that's the gem of Thanatos. The gem of Thanatos is the lesson that we get through every death, rebirth, ending that we experience in life, or a few key ones. Maybe not necessarily every single one, you know what I mean? Because we are human. Um, and again, that would be mountain energy. That's like what Capricorn felt like the last time I did all signs. It felt like Capricorn was on top of the mountain and they had that perspective. And then the starborn, it's almost like if that's the case, then the starborn is almost, that was Russ. It was Hod and whatever. Or was that the end of the video? I think it was when I was putting the runes away. And I think Russ also touched on it. It's like there's something like that's being seeded right now. It's being conceptualized, conceived. It's being conceived right now. Or it was conceived, but now we have enough gems to incubate it or to nurture it as it grows. Either way, it's one of those. I almost lean more towards the second one. Excuse me. I would personally lean more towards the second one, more collectively, obviously. Um, but the first interpretation, I'm sure, might be for somebody. Like I said, when you start talking about all that stuff, I have very, very, very minimal knowledge. And that knowledge is, I know words, and I know that those words mean things to certain individuals. I'm just not the person that it means something to. So if you want more words, then you'd have to go somewhere else, which is more than fine by me. Now I'm separating these out. I'm not going to end this, but I don't want to use these anymore. I kind of want to go for the fairy tarot a little bit, or the fairy oracle cards, but I also kind of don't. Like I do, but I don't. You know what I mean? But who knows? I might just be live today until I go to bed and crash. So feel free to like skip around or whatever, come and go. Feel doubly free to not watch because, like I said, I don't know where this is going or what we're doing today. But that's most days over here, honestly. The thing that I like about combining it's a little bit irritating that the cards aren't exactly the same size. Like they're close enough to the same size, but they're just a little off. Like the animals are a little smaller or they're a little less wide than the tarot. But the thing that I love is that the backs are so different that you can easily separate them. You know what I mean? I mean, that's probably any decks that you combine, but. And they are almost like inverse of each other. They probably are inverse. Where one is black, the other is white, and vice versa. And I totally just put those in the wrong pile. That was the dragonfly. The dragonfly is the only card that has like a strong crease in the middle of it. So anytime I feel it, I can tell what it is. Most of the times I feel it, I can tell what it is. And the times I can, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I couldn't tell that this was the dragonfly. This was my first deck. Use the mass because I was like, oh, animals are like. There's a lot of animals that I don't know, that I still don't know. that I don't have any personal points of contact to. But tarot was like, I don't know anything about that. And it's like super intimidating. So I'll just stick with the animals. Strength in the Ten of Wands. I think also because the reading had that, like, there's the innate shaman that guides, or there are these innate things that we all have that guide us. But with the Phoenix energy, it's like it's what was so deeply internal is becoming more either external, or it's what was so deeply subconscious we're becoming more consciously aware of. That second interpretation, I think, could resonate a little bit more. The starborn can be like literally hatching if it hasn't already. And we see her again. Well, now we get a completely different context because we didn't see the starborn before. The Mother of Wands comes out again. She's the only mother that we see with eggs. The Mother of Wands and the Mother of Pentacles are the only two mothers that we see with their children. The child is born in the Mother of Pentacles, but there's still eggs in the Mother of Wands. The starborn. With the Daughter of Cups and Judgment. I feel like the Daughter of Cups coming after the Mother of Wands is just like, it might not necessarily be what you thought it was, right? I'm sure you'd assume that you would think that those were snake eggs that the Mother of Wands is incubating, but they're actually goslings. There you go. Or cygnets. They're cygnets. No, goslings are geese. They're cygnets. They're actually swan eggs. They're not even snake eggs. And you're like, but wait. Judgment just makes it feel like Judgment carries this energy. You know what? I want to drink a shot of that gin. I don't know if Reem just like popped in for a hot second before she left. I don't know if Reem just popped in here, or I don't know if Reem's gonna pop in after I drink this gin, but I just got the feeling, so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna let the alcohol loosen my lips a little bit to connect easier too. It's like in martial arts, you have the drunken masters. Well, I always wanted to do drunken master kung fu or drunken whatever. This is as close to that as I'm gonna get. I feel like it gets better and better every time. And it's bloom. It's a jasmine and rose gin. There was a rose in the castle. There was a rose in the picture that I showed you, the pink rose. Whew. I actually wanted to grab a granola bar, but that happened. A twist to the, very much so, a twist to the ugly duckling story. I feel like that was a thing. Was that a story time? Was Karen the Heron? Karen the Heron wasn't an ugly duckling, was it? I don't remember. All I remember about Karen the Heron is that no, maybe no, I don't think so. I was gonna say all I remember about Karen the Heron is the name, and I only know that because Eve has mentioned it a few times. Bjorn the unicorn. The unicorn, the unicorn tail. It did not take long for that shot to hit me. I'm kidding. I'm the type of person that like I like drinking like a little bit and then pretending like I am gone. I'm that annoying person. And then or I'm with they're like, you're not even drunk. I'm like, you can't tell me what I am. You don't know. You're not me. I'm gonna finish chewing this granola bar and then I'll tell you what I'm thinking. Or what came to my mind. And I'm buzzed before I even like I get the thought to drink and I'm already buzzed. I read the label and I'm like, I take the shot, I'm gone. No. Okay. So going back to the Gem of Thanatos and the Starborn. It's reading like it's a little bit of both. So maybe there are gems from like previous incarnations if that's something that you subscribe to. If you don't subscribe to previous incarnations, then like there are things that you went through early, like early in life. And then there are things that you've gone through more recently. We're in a time where it's all going to make sense in a way that it didn't necessarily before. That's why the high priestess was with the fool after the snake charming 10 of swords energy. Because the 10 of swords and the mother of wands, that was that part that it's like, there are certain things that we experience that aren't great that lead us to wish for something more. The cobra could also have been, I think it's partially like it leads us to wanting or desiring something more. I think it's also partially like there are parts of ourselves that it's almost like they regress. So like they were parts of ourselves, but then it's like we put them in hiding. So they go back in the shell. They're like unborn. Because maybe someone says that your laugh is really annoying and so that whoever said it to you like it really really hurt you and so now like you don't laugh anymore or you try not to laugh but in not laughing and stifling that laughter there's like a decline in like the saturation of the world around you and just like overall joy in general, you know what I mean? Because somebody said it's like really annoying when you are in that space of expressing something great. And so it's almost like that it becomes unborn within you. The phoenix's rebirth makes sense. But it's like as it's reborn now, it carries something. That's why I'm like, because I'm looking at the colors, it's all because of the colors in the shadow of the Daughter of Cups. And so I don't know if like these are more recent since they're closer to the body, or if these are more recent. But these colors are the same as the colors in the Mother of Wands. That's why I was like, it's something like more recent. I mean, it doesn't matter because it all plays a part. It doesn't matter which like came first, right? And then I looked at the bottom of the deck and I saw this card and I was like, yeah, let me try to get it back because I kind of lost it. Because I'm looking at Judgment. Judgment feels like the Daughter of Cups. But it's like instead of it being black and white as it is in Judgment, there's going to be color. And that's like when the Two of Wands had all the color at the bottom of the deck, I was like, okay, yeah. And there's a directionality in both of these cards. Everything is sort of like going up, or it could be coming down. But there's directionality in both of these. Somebody just came over, that's why I was like, listening. Unibjorn. Hey, maybe the unicorn will come out and this will be your unicorn story. This could also be the Mother of Wands. I mean, it's the same. It's the same interpretation. I just read the cards a little differently. Um, but the Mother of Wands, in all of her confidence, typical Queen of Swords like energy. It's like there's a certain level of authenticity and acceptance of. There's a certain level of acceptance of self that you've reached, and an authenticity of expression that you display or show or carry with you as you live life. It's that authenticity that incubates, that provides the space for these other things within yourself to know that it's okay, excuse me, to be born and to come to the light, right? And so this could be you almost in a space of, it's like as these things are born within you, they have to find a place to go. That little eye roll. I was like, oh, okay, finally, after like 5 hours, I get to the part that I needed. I'm just playing. But it's like it's as there are these things that are sort of like being born or reborn or coming into your awareness of self, you change. That's why we go from a mother to a daughter. Not only do you change like maturity or status, you also change elements. And it makes me think of the quote, it's like you don't start over, you start from experience. Because you're still the Mother of Wands, you're still the Queen of Wands in the suit of Wands. But now you've been born into another suit. And this is internal. Because this is the camel. This is the fire and the water that the camel holds within itself. While the Mother of Swords and the Mother of Pentacles came out. And again, the Mother of Cups is the only mother that we haven't seen. The Daughter of Cups is the only card from the Family of Cups that we have seen. And it feels like when the Daughter of Cups becomes the mother, you become the Empress. When you become the Empress, it triggers this judgment. But the Empress judgment is triggered in a way that encapsulates or includes all colors, the entire spectrum, rather than just the black and white that we see here. And it feels like that's important. That depth and dimension is important. It's important to like not oversimplify things, or it's important to meet a situation with the complexity that it requires and that it deserves. Don't I put these in the wrong box? I put the tarot in the animal box. I was like, why don't these cards fit? Because that's the wrong box. Interesting. Okay. I feel like we're getting somewhere, kind of. Somewhere, yeah, for sure. I feel like we are definitely getting somewhere. I gotta go to the restroom. You have my full, literally undivided attention, animals. The honeybee came back out. I'm a gummy bear. It's a gummy bear. I saw it was a video. It was like a kid ate 180 melatonin gummies for lunch. This is what happened. I didn't watch the video. I saw the thumbnail and the title for a video that said a kid ate 180 melatonin gummies for lunch. The golden egg is at the bottom of the deck. Bio break? Oof, I haven't seen that phrase in a long time. We see the moon again, but this time, no, it's the same moon. It was on the horse. There is also a moon on the camel, but it's a blue moon. This is the golden crescent moon. The mouse was actually at the bottom of the deck. It might have been under a card. I kept looking at it, but I was like, I'm not feeling it. So I didn't mention it, but here it is again. The bumblebee, the horse, and the mouse. The horse and the mouse, it's like any amount of movement is movement. Can be baby steps, could be toddler steps, or a whole, maybe it's a trot or a gallop or whatever, the canter, whatever horse speak is. Um, can it really? Ooh. That'd be embarrassing. I was like, have I done that before? But like, no. Well, it's fine. The house and the Morse. Yes, the house and the Morse. Um, the mouse and the horse. It's like any amount of movement is progress. The bee makes it feel like it's like towards something greater. Or it can also bring in an element of like it's towards a goal or it's towards a process. The soggy bottom blues, no. And then the golden egg is at the bottom of the deck. The golden egg is giving me real gem vibes in the nest. And it's like it's the element of spirit. Thanatos' gem, the golden egg. No water again. Well, this is all earth and air. No fire or water. So with the queen or the mother of pentacles, we have the mouse and the horse. Any amount of movement towards a goal is progress. With the mother of swords, we have the bumblebee. Since she is the mother of swords, bumblebee is feeling like it's something brand new. It's almost like unprecedented, but it's also not completely unheard of. But with the bumblebee, there's because bees swarm and live in hives. There's an energy of like it's a cooperative effort. And so because it is a cooperative effort, any amount of progress, movement, healing, change, whatever that the individual makes is inherently multiplied manyfold because of the work of the collective. I guess it's if it's or a swarm of lazy bees, then maybe not. That's not the case. Just for funsies. I mean, the horse is here. This is where the horn comes from, right? So we get a unicorn. That's funny because when I was shuffling the deck, the when I was shuffling, which reminds me, I need. Oh my gosh! Look how. Wow, they're really gonna make me go all the way through. Usually, as soon as I open the box, it clears right up, but I'm gonna have to configure the video. Goodness, I didn't. It became fuzzy, fuzzy. Um, I was shuffling the Wild Unknown Alchemy, and at the cut, it was calcination or calcification and ether. And usually, like whenever it's like calcifying in my brain or in my mind, someone was like, "Oh, your pineal gland is calcifying or whatever, so you need a blah 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 whatever," right? But it's almost like, well, maybe the calcification of ether is different because like ether is. It's almost like the calcification of ether is ether being made like 3D, like it's a coagulation of something, but it becomes visible. And it's like maybe that's what the unicorn's horn is. It's the calcification of ether right here that goes skyward or straight out, or who knows. Then the bee would like this is the etheric plane that the bee is like opening up or traveling between or whatever. So it's a unicorn in the making. It's the Unibjorn. It's like Bjorken, the birth room. And you thought unicorns were born. Unicorns are made. This is the tale of a unicorn made, not a unicorn born. But a unicorn made, when they reproduce, they give unicorns born, maybe. So I'm going to take a brief intermission to go to the restroom, and then I'll come back and be um, switch decks. Okay, brain. 1 second. Un momento, por favor. All right, so I forgot that I have to still shuffle the alchemy. Unimpressive. Oof. Recorded two movies. Recorded two movies. Yeah, you are a film director, creator, cinematographer. I mean, honestly, works of art that you produce over there on Everlong Mystic. So that was not an overstatement in any sense of the word. Um, but yeah, I forgot to shuffle up the Water Known Alchemy before I took my little potty break. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna switch over. I ended up grabbing the Fairy Tarot. I might pair it with the Runic Tarot. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know. Just got paid. It's Friday night. I wouldn't be surprised if like gold or silver come out, or the Philosopher's Stone or something a little bit more. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Because it could also be something. It could be that calcification. When you reach the end of your life and you think to yourself, I should have had more salad. Solutio, dissolution. Number 65. Number 56 was, I don't remember. That's at the bottom of the deck. Two cards came out. Conjunctio, conjunction, and Sal Sapiente, wise salt. This is 28 and 71. Conjunctio, conjunction. Now, if this was like coagulation, it'd be a little easier. I mean, this is pretty much, I feel like this is pretty much what I already, this is pretty much the well known archetypes. With wise salt in conjunction, like wise salt feels like the lessons that we get from experiences. If there's salt in a solution and you boil out all the water, you're going to be left with the salt. Conjunction, conjunctio, makes it feel like it's just like it's all in the same place. It's not necessarily aggregating or coagulating or coming together, but it is sort of all being included. And all of this wisdom in one place leads to the dissolution of some kind of veil. And then smoke is here, fumus, number 32. I grabbed smoke because it makes me think of the fog that was in the south. And the bird is flying into the cup. It's flying in a, if we put it on the mouth, if we put it on the mouth, if we put it on a map, southward direction. And so it's almost like as it's flying into the cup, there's this fog rising out of it. And it feels like that's the point where all of the wisdom gained comes in handy. Because even if it can't see because of the smoke, it can still navigate because of its wisdom. Just like how birds have internal um, compasses or whatever. So no matter where they are, they always know where the southward direction is when they have to migrate south, or the northward direction is when they migrate north. It makes me think of Polaris that came out like last time or the time before. What's interesting is about this though, in conjunctio, we have the light and dark separated. So that can either be like how we take from both, or how we have a clear lens when we look at both, so that we can extract the most wisdom we can. Or it can be a sort of separation of like wisdom that we've gained from experiences that actually serve us moving forward, and wisdom that we've gained from experiences that don't serve us moving forward. It's like if you have a set of not great experiences and your takeaway is that this is how life is, then it's like that might not necessarily be as helpful as we're moving into times where so much is changing. Because it's like, well, maybe enough has changed, or maybe you've changed enough, or maybe the people that you're surrounded with, or the job you work, or the environment is different enough that you're not going to get the same outcome. So that's a piece of wisdom that served you really, really well when things weren't different. But now that they are different, it might not benefit you as much as it did in the past. So that might go into the garbage side, or the to be used in different scenarios bin. Is this Polaris? Polaris right there? Maybe not. I don't know. Excuse me. Photos? Oh, snap. I remember when I had a Pikachu camera. I was so bad at taking pictures when I was little. Like, literally 78% of the photos I took were at least 50% thumb. It's kind of like how, like, you see me on your screen right now, even though it's like blurry or whatever. So I am as much of the picture that I wanted to take as would show up in the photos. All of this, everything else would be like my thumb. So like this would all be thumb over here. This is all thumb, and then here's like something that I was taking a picture of. So I haven't really improved that much. It is easier to not get thumb with digital cameras and with cell phones and stuff like that, but I have um I have gotten some thumb in some cell phone pictures too. So. And that makes it all the more ridiculous. So, it's like, well, how did that happen? It's like, I don't know. I'm bad at photos. So whenever someone's like, hey, like, can you take a picture of us? I'm like, it might not be that great, but I can do it for you. Actual tangible photo albums? I feel like I have. We went to Disney in Orlando, and I feel like I had. First of all, I got like nobody's signature, even though we had little signature books. But I felt like I had an album of pictures somewhere, but maybe not. Maybe, maybe not. The Spirit Keeper's Tarot. I mean, I wasn't gonna use you, but sure, why not? I am gonna keep the Mystical Shaman though, because I did want to use those. Who was that? Oh, I'm not using that deck. Where did you go? Here you are. Where did this box just go that I literally just saw? It's right here. Oh, well, I guess you can stay for now. I feel like there are some places where I forget to take pictures too. Or like I'll take a few, but then I'll forget to take more. And so then I'll be like, oh, I didn't take any pictures. What? 2 hours? Are you serious? What, Faeries and others. Oof. Yeah, 2 hours. Wow. Okay. Now I am rethinking this idea. Now I'm like, maybe I should just end it. They've already been secretly included in the link in at the end of the video of one of the videos on Everlong Mystic's channel. But it only pops up if you watch the whole video. So you have to watch every single video on her channel all the way through to see if you can find the mysterious link where the pictures pop up. If I could do something like that, that would, like, I'm so difficult that I'm like, man, I wish I could do like a pick a card reading, but if you pick more than one card, it doesn't work. It only resonates if you pick one card. I was like, okay, but why would you do that? Because I'm dumb and I have control issues? I don't know. Excuse me. The Journeyman, number 15. Very full in appearance. The Journeyman. Yep, you can only pick one card. Ecstasis on the bottom. I like ecstasis because it makes me think of X-stasis, like you're exiting stasis. Sorry. Mystical shaman, what say thou? Kind of want 3 of these, but maybe not. The spiral came out, and I saw the spiral at the cut when I shuffled it like the first time. The spiral and the circle. The circle is at the bottom of the deck. Let's do this way. As soon as I'm like, oh, we're moving out of like a stasis, the spiral, the circle. Are you? It was these were at the cut, the spiral and the Earthkeeper. The Earthkeeper was at the bottom of the deck. The spiral was at the cut. And they've come out. Number 50, number 18, and number 30, Lightning, has also made an appearance. Did somebody say Thunderstorm? Oh my gosh, it's Eve's favorite card and a number 18. The Necromancer. Number 18. Bottom of the deck is the Sacred Word, which is the Ace of Swords. Honestly, I just use like my breath and intention. But I'm not super connected to crystals. I'm not super into like sage. I'm not super into anything that you have to light. The one time I lit incense, I did way too much and effed up my lungs for like a long time because I burned basically a whole stick with no windows open and no ventilation. Um, so yeah, breath and intention is all I use. But that's like I do what I feel works for me. And like I said, other modalities don't really call to me or speak to me, or I don't really connect to them in a way that a lot of other people do. Like I don't do full moon, new moon, because it's not that I'm like not attached to the moon cycles, but I'm not super tied to them. So yeah. Oh, so the Shining Waters and the Necromancer are the 2 cards that came out in the tarot. So we start with the journeyman, which is super interesting. This makes me think of the Awakening card and the Tarot of the Abyss. And it makes me think of the Awakening card and the Tarot of the Abyss because I literally just looked at the Tarot of the Abyss. But I don't know if this is like, it's like ancestral or if it's within one's own series and cycles of incarnations or if it's within, it almost feels like it's like within the person. Like this, like these are the same people, but this is like it's shed its skin and this is like the old exoskeleton and it's emerging from itself but walking a new path. Younger, or it's younger because it's less like how the last one ended, it's less bound by previous experiences. Or like the Mother of Wands and the Daughter of Cups, it's more, it's stepping forward in a more authentic to the true self way rather than authentic to the self that was created, or the self, yeah, the self, the lowercase s self that was created in the presence of challenges, obstacles, the environment of the past, but not necessarily a capital S self. So you could say it's like the ego, but it feels like it's about more than just the ego, because to reduce it to the ego would be to almost do a disservice to all of the wisdom and authenticity and everything that was gained in that time. Now, the spiral, the earth keeper, and the lightning. Between the spiral and the lightning, it feels like it makes me think of the phoenix in. Oh, yeah, it makes me think of the phoenix. Interesting. Um, it makes me think because there was a point in time where the phoenix was coming out, or it would be like the Eight of Wands and the Phoenix, or the Eight of Wands and the Tower. And it's like there are phoenix ashes that are at the bottom of a body of water. And because it's in a body of water, they can't ignite for the phoenix to be reborn. But there's lightning that strikes the ashes. And as the lightning travels to the ashes, it's like it vaporizes the water, or it parts the water in that area. And so if the phoenix is quick enough, it can be ignited by the spark and it can ride that back up and escape the water. It's almost like if you light a candle and you blow it out. I've never done it in real life, but I've seen videos of it on the internet where it's like somebody will blow out a candle and the vapor that rises from the flame, the extinguished flame, they'll light it and it'll travel down and it'll reignite the wick. Because it's like, I don't know, it's making me, it's like there's this vortex that opens to the bottom of a bottle of there's a vortex that opens to the bottom of a body of water, and in that moment lightning strikes straight down the middle. And I'll put these back on time. 50 is temperance, 30 is the hanged man. 18 would be the wheel of fortune and strength, or the wheel of fortune and judgment. 15 would be the wheel of fortune and the hierophant. Did I say judgment? The wheel of fortune and justice, or the wheel of fortune and strength. Excuse me. But with the Earthkeeper being here, It's almost like there's something that Gaia has been hiding, is the word that immediately comes to mind, but we'll use the word holding or withholding. There's something that Gaia's been holding somewhere. I feel like for the most part, this is the same. Mm, honestly, though, the spiral, the Earthkeeper, and Lightning could be opening a portal to the lower world. And I say it can be opening a portal to the lower world because of the portal and the waves of the Undine that we see up here, but also because we have the Necromancer here with the Scarab sort of flying over the moon. And again, that makes me think of Phaeton and the Chariot of the Sun that he couldn't pull in life, that he gained the strength for in death, which again goes back to the gem of Thanatos, the one that completed whatever was for them to complete while they were dead, so that as they reemerge into life, they come with a certain completeness that the typical living might not have necessarily had in the past. But the circle being here is saying that every piece is important. Every phase, every experience has something to contribute. There is not one that is more important than the other. And then the coyote is behind the circle. But the coyote just feels like it speaks of the challenge or the difficulty in extracting the wisdom from certain experiences, or in, because with the circle, no one thing is more important than the other. So maybe there are things that we hold with greater regard than benefits us. There are certain knowledge, information, wisdom gained that we hold to a higher esteem, or that we rely upon more, that is very, very influential in our decision making, rather than like being a thing that we consider. It's like we consider it too much. The lightning feels like it comes from somewhere else, though. I would say it feels like the lightning comes from the upper world and it strikes the middle world to make a portal in the lower world, or to open one that's already there. Which I guess is very Inanna. How Ishtar reemerges from the underworld as Inanna Ishtar, if I got that right. There's something so Semyaza in this. Mm, Semyaza-esque, Semyaza-ish. It's reminiscent of Semyaza. And maybe it's because of this ecstasis. It's almost like with this ecstasis, there's a connection that can be formed from top to bottom within the self. Like there are these upper world ideals that we hold on to, and there are these lower world things that we repress. And because, again, we don't factor in everything, or because we overly emphasize some things and underly value other things, it creates a disharmony. It creates a system that is incapable of sustaining any kind of balance, any kind of like harmonious balance. Because I feel like we can find balance in a way where we fall into a pattern, or we can fall into a pattern and feel that the stability of that pattern provides us balance. But it's like, in that sense of the word, yes. But in a more globally or intrapersonally harmonious sense of the word balance, no. Because there are some things that are always overly emphasized and other things that are always underly valued. So how can there be any real wholeness within the self? What's interesting is, though, it feels like it's not only darkness that's trapped in the lower world. And it feels like a little piece of that is like the light that exists where you are. Like maybe there are candles and sparks and shimmers in the darkness of light, but we can't reach them because of where they are. It would mean for us to whatever. But I think that's why it's important that the journeyman is here, stepping outside of its old self. I feel like that's it. Daisy. I did pull the runic tarot. I've already used the spirit. I'll pull it. You are not the runic tarot. I thought I put it conveniently right behind me. Is it in my left hand or my right hand? I think it's in my left hand. I said my left hand, and I should have pulled my right hand because it was in my left hand. I was like, I think it's in my left hand, and then I pulled out my right hand, and I'm like, this is not the deck I was looking for. Let's clarify the journeyman. If you would be so kind. Like 5 cards flipped over. I feel like I don't use any of my decks enough. Honestly. It's funny because like this is the box art. The card came out. And it's death. Death, the 10 of shields, and the 3 of wands with the 5 of wands, question mark. So there's death and the 10 of shields. Oh yeah. It's wands. They're up at the top. The 2 and the 5. The 3 and the 5. The 3 and the 5. and this is the journeyman. So when I saw death, I was like, yeah, that's probably like the old self. Yeah, Russ did get the deck. Maybe that wasn't my place to, to say, but yeah, he received it. Just in time. Oh, this is interesting. So death made me think, yeah, like this is us emerging from our old selves or whatever, right? But death and the Ten of Wands are the Ten of Shields. Because of the boats on this card, it feels very Ragnarok. Like these are the Einherjar, the souls who were deemed worthy in life that go to Valhalla to fight in Ragnarok. Like this is those souls coming back for that fight. And it's the Three of Wands instead of the Two of Wands because of the amount of expectation. Like, oh, like if I'm coming back to life, I'm coming back to fight a Ragnarok, and boom, that's it, right? And so it feels like as we are almost sort of prepared to go in one direction, we're tied up and burned at the stake in the Five of Wands. But those feel like the fires of purity. Like it feels like it's going to be a cleansing. And it makes me think of Russ talked about it when he did. It was like in the month of October, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember if it was the Iannis Geminis when he first did it, but he was like, in this one season, all the people who are going to go out and fight, they invoke like the energy of Mars so that they can go out and they can be ferocious on the battlefield. But when they come home, there's another ceremony to like purge them of all of that because you don't want, you know, because when they're at home, there's nobody to fight. So there's no reason to hold or to continue holding and to stoke the flames of that energy. This feels like the process that will purge them of that energy because there is nothing to fight. There is a certain, and like even like if you look at the runes, moving from the tier rune to Aether ice, it loses direction from the 3 to the 5. And when it loses direction, it's almost like it's directed back to the self. And maybe that's why it's in, maybe that's playing out part of that. Like there are some things in certain seasons that it's like it holds more weight for a reason. We value those things more for like there was a purpose that it helped us achieve at some point in our lives, and we did that successfully. The only trouble is how we define success then because of who we are, what the world was, and what our goals, aims, and dreams were. Like, not everything is necessarily consistent with now. Maybe you've changed, maybe the world has changed, maybe your dreams, goals, desires, ambitions have changed. And so going about things in the same way may not necessarily yield the same success that it did in the past. I mean, honestly, more than success, it feels like things revolving around self preservation. But it's like there's been enough growth or healing or evolution within the self that we need not protect ourselves to the same degree in the same way all the time. because that armor impedes upon our ability to be vulnerable in the spaces where that vulnerability will return vulnerability, and where vulnerability meets, something new can grow and flourish and blossom. Sure. What time is it? 10 o'clock. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm ending this here. Good night, Eve. I'm glad you were able to make it too. So yeah, let's get some final cards and then end this. Has it been like 4? It's been 2.5 hours. This was not supposed to be this long, but it's fine. And we're gonna go from most recently 5 of Cups. I hope I put these back up right, and I didn't put them back in the deck in reverse. Excuse me. Okay. Final card, please, from the Runic Tarot. The King of Cups. With the 6 of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Or the King of Horns. Even though it says Cups. I've seen this king before. Because I remember this bind rune. It's like Gift and Thorn. Which is a gift of a portal that's a gift. Dolphins in the sky. 1 second, I gotta bring this back up so I can see this and there we go. Look at the dolphins in the sky. Dolphins and whales were at the bottom of the animals, or they came out in the animals, but I didn't take them. In the last series of readings, we saw the Mother of Wands, the Mother of Swords, and the Mother of Pentacles. The only mother we didn't see was the Mother of Cups. We saw the Daughter of Cups, and it was like when the Daughter of Cups reaches maturity, then all of these queens will become the Empress. And when all the queens become the Empress, that's when judgment triggers. But the Empress can bring a level of depth and dimension to it to add a lot of color instead of blacks and whites and grays that any of the queens alone, they wouldn't be able to add that level of depth. Right. But now we see the King of Cups here with the 6 of Wands at the bottom and a very interesting rune in the sky. I don't think that's a bind rune. Oops. But it might be. Awaz. So it is a bind rune. It can either be bound between Awaz and Issa or Awaz and Gitz. It's a very interestingly stylized Awaz, though. The 6 of Wands is a card of achievement. It's the recognition of an achievement, and it's usually a victorious return home. Which is interesting because everything else was Ragnarok. Or the other cards came out very like those who were deemed worthy on the battlefield and then taken to Valhalla so that they can fight again in Ragnarok. But because it's the King of Cups that comes out, it's like it's the recognition or validation of something other than like brute strength. It's almost like it's a recognition of kindness, gentleness, openness. It's a recognition of almost like compromise and connectedness. Or it's uh, a recognition of achievements that affect more than just the self. Because with the Valkyrie, it's almost like you try to gain glory for yourself so that you're deemed worthy and you get taken to Valhalla so that you don't have to go to hell basically when you die with one L. But it's like the King of Cups seeks glory for more than just themselves or something like that. It feels like it'll be better adjusted. It reads as like better adjusted to the energy because we're like it's not those who come back from Valhalla aren't coming back to fight the fights that they thought they would be fighting in the way that they thought they would be fighting them. And so maybe the King of Cups like already had other things that they wanted to do. And so now that they get a second chance, they can focus on doing those things. It's almost like when the King of Cups was a child, there were dreams and fantasies that he held, but ones that he couldn't live out because of like the environment that he was in. So he had to learn how to fight or whatever. But now, it's like now that the war is over, he can return to these things that he once dreamed of. Cute. Where did it go? Here it is. And that makes me think of Gemini from when I did all the signs. And I think that's come out before. Um, the Shining Flame Knight of Wands just flipped over immediately. I'm not going to take it, but I will note it. The Shining Flame came out for Taurus when I did all the signs, and it came out with the Conservator, the Four of Pentacles. And the Conservator was like knowing your why. So that no matter what you do, it's always sort of serving this greater purpose. And a greater purpose being one that's more connected to you and what's important to you. Because then it gives you a little bit of flexibility in what you do. It's almost like it doesn't matter what, as long as you know why. Now, here is our Hierophant that comes with the Corruptor at the bottom of the deck, the Seven of Chalices. This is the Master of the Arcanes. And it's interesting because this Hierophant energy carries one that is very different than the Hierophant in the Vitruvian edition. This is like a new Hierophant, the Hierophant that doesn't stand in the place of the divine, in a way. And it feels like the Corruptor is here because it's like who the Hierophant, It's like the Hierophant energy has gone through its own process of purification, or it's going through its process of purification. And so the new Hierophant, the purified Hierophant, is going to be very different than the Hierophant that we were sort of used to. And there are a lot of people that turned away from Hierophantic energies because of what the Hierophant was. But it's like when new Hierophant comes in, it might not necessarily be the same as what it was in the past, but our view and our opinion of it has already been tainted. But that just in turn gives us an opportunity to look back and reflect on ourselves. And for us to ask ourselves, is the Hierophant of old worth not engaging with the Hierophant of now, or the Hierophant of new? And the Hierophant, more than religious sort of systems, is almost representing life itself, or how we thought that the world worked because of all of the systems and governments and organizations that were in place. I'm not saying that all that is necessarily like already done, but it's just something to think about, I guess, in the future. It's almost like if something can be saved, salvaged, or purified, then is it not worth holding on to? Not that you or me or anyone else is necessarily responsible for uncorrupting the corrupted. I think too, for a long time, we made the Hierophant more than what it was supposed to be. It's almost like in some ways we were the ones that put those in power, or certain systems in place. Some of us were the ones that put those in place. Some of us had less of a choice. But it all comes down to basically comfort and what we're willing to sacrifice in order to get that sort of structure or stability, or to maintain it. But as we become more independent and less, um, it's almost like as we give less to it, then, like, of course, that dynamic can change almost in a way. Because we no longer like give the Hierophant the power to make our choices and decisions. We make our own choices and decisions, or whatever. The Earthkeeper came back out. Many paths is at the bottom of the deck. I'm going to put them back and shuffle again. But the Earthkeeper and many paths, it's almost like there is not one. There are many. Like there is no one salvation. There are many. There is no one right way to do something. There are many. It's almost like the multifaceted, duplicitous nature or multiplicitous nature of many things. There are a few things that are 100% all one thing. There's good in all and there's bad in all. And we ourselves make the choices and decisions of how much of which we sort of tolerate, allow, accept, whatever. But just because we make those choices and decisions for ourselves doesn't make us judge, jury, or executioner of anyone else. You know what I mean? Mystical shaman. I mean, if Earthkeeper comes out again, then it's the Earthkeeper. But final card, please. Way too many. The smoky mirror was at the top of it, though. And I feel like that smoky mirror goes back to the corruptor and the Hierophant. Because it's almost a question of like, If there is something or someone that wronged us at one point in time, and if that thing truly has genuinely changed, and we refuse to see it, it's almost like, what is that sort of showing us about us? Again, it's like, it's not what you see in the mirror, it's why you see what you see. Why can't we see that the Hierophant has changed if it's already changed? What are we holding on to within ourselves to make it continue to appear in a way that it no longer is? And is that something within ourselves? Then we get to make a choice and decision once we discover what that answer is, of whether we continue to see the Hierophant that way or whether we let it go and see the Hierophant as it is now. And it's not always easy. There are things that we hold on to for good reason. Again, it's like there was a point in time where it served us, it protected us, it helped our success, our functioning to sort of be fixed in that way. But we might not necessarily need it anymore. The crow is an animal that comes out. This is our last card. And it kind of is are these illustrated by the same people? It's in the box. The crow, it almost makes me think of the Crow Tarot Crow. Number 13, just like death. And then the sun, number 53. So there's an energy of death in between the crow and the sun, a difference of 40. I kind of like that about the crow. Not everyone sees the crow or crows as ill omens, but it almost holds that energy. It's like, if we did see, or even if we don't see the crow as an ill omen, it's like, what if the meaning behind crow has changed? I don't know. What if crows have a new master? I don't know if a master is the word I want, but it's also interesting that crows are so good at impersonating people. Well, impersonating people is a stretch. It's interesting that they can't imitate human speech, that they have that ability. And it's funny because as I was walking in the cemetery earlier, I was like, if a crow comes over here, like, I'll try to say something to it. Like, hey, pretty bird. And then it'll be like, hey, pretty bird. It'll say it back to me. It didn't happen, but, I have a thought. um, I think it's like there's a lot that crow symbolizes, both good and bad. And with the sun isn't necessarily about good versus bad. The sun isn't right versus wrong. The sun is just clarity. It's seeing something in full light for all of its facets, capacities, potentials, actions, and everything. Now, there aren't too many things in life that we necessarily are privy to a full 100% picture of. But it feels like it's just about being open to sort of more. Being open to more. Or being open to allowing the truth of something to reveal itself even more. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't like it. Right? And then the last deck is the Fairy Tarot. Fairy Oracle cards. The Fairies Oracle. Himself. Number 17. With the Singer of Transfiguration at the bottom of the deck. I mean, I feel like it's becoming more of who we are, with the singer of Transfiguration and himself. But yeah, it's like it's us becoming more of who we are. So it's less dependent on who other people are, and it's less dependent on the state of our lives and the state of the world and the environment that we're in. It's like, yes, as living beings, we have to adapt to the environments that we're in to a certain degree, but we are not our environments. And I think it's time we realize that to a certain level and extent. It's like we're more than where we are in life, and we're more than. But again, that's very like um, heart chakra and throat chakra, right? Is that heart and throat, or is that sacral or solar plexus and throat? I don't remember. I don't remember. My chakra is rusty. So, what is the heart chakra? I feel like I said it. I know the throat and the third eye. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's heart. It's heart and throat. It's very heart and throat. The solar plexus is like what drives us, which is it's like, it's more than the life that we live. It's more than the things that we've had to do to get where we are today. The people that we've been, or the person that we've been, or people, because I think not all of us are necessarily exactly the same in every single situation in life. There are different mixes, right? Like maybe if you go to work, you're more this percentage of you and less like that percentage of you. And when you're with family and friends, or when you're interviewing, like even at work, if there are different duties that you have to perform at work, it's like maybe you're this version of you when you have to present or speak or network and connect, and you're this person when you have to focus on completing a task and blah blah blah, whatever, you know what I mean? Even within situations, and even within environments, there are different situations within that environment. It's a very like probably admittedly more mutable energy, but we all do it. Most of us do it. I'm not going to say every single person does it, because some people might be the same no matter where you catch them, no matter how well you know them or how much of a stranger they are to you. You get the exact same person to the exact same degree. Literally nothing changes. But it's about us and who we are. Getting back to the truth of who we are. And that'll be the thing that facilitates or makes smooth and easy the roads to getting where we're going. And again, like it's not that we don't have to be where we are or perform whatever we need to do when we're like there, but it's just for us to have the knowing, right? Like even if I am bland AF and super boring when I'm at work, because that's who I am at work, doesn't mean that I'm the same person when I'm tipsy off of 10 bottles of wine. I'm kidding. That's a joke. Um, but it's like, as long as we have that deep knowing within ourselves of who we are, that's what's important. Not, it's like we're not going to be able to necessarily be the same in every single situation. And it's not necessarily meant for us to be. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's what I got. That's what I got. So thank you all for being here. I hope you have an amazing whatever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And I hope that the things that you need to find within you, you find. And the things that you need to find outside of you, you find. And that you're able to contextualize all of it in a way that helps. So, bye-bye. Good night. And I will catch you the next time I catch you, which I don't know. Let's see.